This is Deborah Atkinson, and you're listening to Flipping 50, where I address your top questions and struggles. I share what to eat, how to move, and how to think to get the energy and the vitality you want in the second and better half. And today, as you know from the title, I'm sharing 8 truths about healthy weight loss and hormones. I have just come off of an amazing weekend being a presenter at something called Fitness Fest. You may be interested in if you're a fitness instructor or a personal trainer or health coach, that occurs in Mesa, Arizona. It's an amazing event, and they've got them all over the West Coast currently looking to expand. So check it out, especially if you're working with an older population. But I'm coming off of this knowing that from my sessions, from talking to people for almost 24 hours total in the expo hall at our booth, we know that there's a lot of conversation still existing about weight loss, how to do it, calorie counting, exercise, how that all comes into play. And here's the facts. Your healthy weight may not be the number in your head. You know, if you've been attached to a number on the scale, been attached to the scale, period, your potential for self-sabotage is high. This episode is all about how the days of eat less, exercise more have caught up with you and how your metabolism potentially has suffered. I'll share the common mistakes, the how to restart your metabolism with a lifestyle that doesn't include overexercise or undereating. This episode is brought to you by Flipping 50's Fit You program, dedicated to women over 50 with 20 or more pounds to lose, because losing 20 pounds is very different than losing 5 or that last 10 even. But it's also different after 40 or after 50 than it was losing weight in your 20s or 30s. That's not to say we did it right then, but it takes more. Weight loss, and particularly fat loss after 50, is different, not impossible, just different. I use only research featuring women in perimenopause, menopause, and beyond to create the programming, all programming at Flipping 50, and particularly this. I also employ 30 plus years, this is actually year 35, of experience with midlife women as a coach, a personal trainer, and as a coach to personal trainers called a master trainer. I know what questions to ask, I know what works, and those questions I can answer before you even know to ask them. You're going to identify in this program your stinking thinking from science that's decades old, that's been replaced, but that's hard to grasp as an overabundance of information is coming at you today. I'll talk a little bit more about that, and there is a link in the show notes. So let's dive in to these 8 truths. Crazy truths about your weight loss and your hormones. And we're going to hit it for right now in your life. Number 1, the scale lies. Checking your weight is not enough. Doesn't tell you body composition. Now, you can buy a scale that does, but it still doesn't tell you if you're dehydrated. It might. It can also potentially do that, but the calibration could be incorrect. You're going to appear fatter if you're dehydrated, since we store water in your muscle. A scale doesn't tell you if you're retaining water weight, since you had a potentially higher in sodium or sugary foods meal that you're not used to. It doesn't tell you that you have inflammation from any cause, say eating foods that aren't ideal for you or from too much exercise. It doesn't tell you that you may be constipated and maybe you're just used to that feeling and not even questioning it. Number 2, calorie counting is a myth. The truth is you can eat about 300 more calories per day. If you're consuming quality calories, then you can, if they're poor in nutrient density, and maintain the same weight or potentially lose weight. The volume of food you can consume can increase, stay the same, or be less depending on the meal. You can choose avocado, salmon, nuts, and seeds. You can consume plates full of vegetables. Healthy weight loss doesn't occur at a controlled speed. You may have noticed, a piece of chocolate cake is not the same as a piece of salmon. They have different effects on the body, even though the calories may be about the same. One will spike blood sugar and therefore insulin. Fat storage starts and fat metabolism halts when insulin is present in the body. Game over, right? The same will happen if you have fruit on an empty stomach. It may seem more logical that the same is true of wine on an empty stomach, which is most often when you drink it, right, in preparing that meal or having a cocktail before dinner. You will tend to, if you love your wine, look for someone who will give you the answer you want about drinking wine. That's been my experience. If you're ready to change, you will. If you're not, you'll ignore the steps that you can take to improve your chance for fat burning and for sleep, which will improve your fat burning by reducing cortisol. You don't exchange a glass of wine for other calories during the day and make it okay. This, friends, is a myth. Number 3, eating less signals your body to burn less. That is simply the message you're sending. Dieting is stress. When you're eating too little, your body is stressed. A stressed body holds on to every calorie. It's a form of self-protection. Meanwhile, in old school thinking, you're thinking you believe that you're being good, right? If you've learned that if you're hungry and you're grumpy, it's a part of the diet process, because totally illogically, you think if you feel like crap, you'll eventually feel great. Even saying that sentence, if you're hearing that sentence, doesn't it sound crazy? Why would we think that going through anything that causes misery is going to eventually lead us to feeling better? How wrong is that? Makes no sense when you think about it. Keep doing whatever never worked permanently, and in fact do more of it and you'll get better results? No, that's pretty close to insanity. The more times in your life you've fallen for eating less and losing weight from restriction, then gained it back or gained dozens or even hundreds of pounds, the more damage to your hormones that regulate weight you've done. Now, I want to jump in here. Just because you've done damage, you've been on the roller coaster, don't resign yourself to the fact that you can't correct it. It's time to reset and restore. Start nourishing instead of starving. We all know a 20-something woman is now, or has, maybe she was you, dieted and restricted and lost weight only to gain it back, get exhausted, not sleep, have gut issues. She may have thinning hair. And when she does eat, she eats garbage. She likes to bake and cook. And all, of course, under the premise of taking care of her health and giving to others by serving and baking. She may share this passion with others. Unfortunately for her, it's not healthy. It could have been you. This could still be you. And yet now you're the adult in the kitchen and you have to care and prepare for somebody else. And because you haven't made peace with food, it's all you can think about. And you throw yourself obstacles. Even when someone gives you healthy, easy recipes, you can't potentially see the way to how you're going to restore and use those. And so you may self-sabotage and not choose to make those, but look for elaborate kinds of recipes that take too much time and convince yourself that cooking takes too much time, period. Next, exercising more can put you into stress mode. But that's typically what we do, right? Some women are just more likely to dial up exercise. More is better, right? Wrong. Again, it's a stress signal for your body. Cortisol will, especially if you're eating less, come back with a vengeance. You're putting one foot on the brake and the other one on the accelerator. How well does that work? You'll forfeit any growth hormone and testosterone benefits from exercise when you eat less and exercise more, because cortisol is king, queen, prince, and princess of the weight loss mountain. You can't get fit without adequate calories and protein. Most importantly, without rest and recovery. You'll limit that supply of endorphins and serotonin, two hormones that could help you to burn out. Your body won't give you those anymore during exercise. So even though you keep escalating, doing more, doing it longer, you won't feel as good even during exercise. Next up is relying on diets. Creates a codependency that leaves you without a life plan. No liquid diet, 3-day reset, or 28-day magic. By the way, that's my program. Including that will support a lifetime of freedom around food if you don't start with a healthy diet and relationship with food. Healthy weight loss is not a temporary thing. You get there with a long game. You have to stop identifying as someone heavy. You have to lose the idea of being someone who can experience healthy weight loss. You have to, in short, start living. You're going to have to stop the ways that never led to healthy weight loss sustained for a long time in order to attain healthy weight loss that lasts forever. Women in their 50s and 60s and 70s have done it. Stop believing you can. It's different, yes, because the right way was always different. You've now exhausted the ways that don't work. Now you can get on with a healthy approach. It's a blessing in disguise. A rigid eating plan creates physical and psychological reactions that make you want to eat. This is a truth. Every signal from your brain to your gut to the rest of your body is going to tell you to eat. It's the nature of the game. Your hormones jump into action when they aren't being nourished, and they'll do everything they can to protect you, which, if you're trying to lose weight, will feel like self-sabotage. Then when you do eat, they revert to the way cavemen feasted and fasted when they found food, and then they had to go long periods of time without food. But you've got more going on during menopause and beyond than they did, right? We never really saw images of fat cavemen, right? But you have issues. Changes in estrogen, testosterone, progesterone are going to set you up for more fat storage and a lot less fat burning until you ditch the thoughts around food and fat as your enemy and you begin to identify food that's good, take pleasure in it. Your body may not support your mind's effort. And this one's really important. A binge purge cycle occurs, whether small or full-blown, when you go off anything. If you don't have a good relationship with food in the first place, a diet is not going to improve it. You won't start having a good relationship with food because you've lost weight. You'll begin to better your relationship with food, likely eating more than you're used to, and then begin to experience healthy weight loss. This one's really important. Physical breakdown that leads to injury or illness is likely if you are trying to lose weight any other way than healthfully. If you've had years of skimping or dieting and treating yourself or eating junk food, your micronutrient levels may be so low that injuries and illnesses begin to occur frequently. Chronic ones, including plantar fasciitis, are more than just wearing high heels or carrying extra weight or exercising too much. Breakdown of muscles as well as bone is in part because of hormones, but also a lack of diet sufficient in micronutrients that affects your hormones. A healthy weight loss is not about creating lack in the body, but rather abundance. An abundance of micronutrient-dense foods can support estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone balance. Cortisol, insulin, and ghrelin and leptin levels improve so that you can leave cravings that sabotage behind you. More than you need to know a specific heart rate zone for fat burning, you need to know and read the clues your body is sending you about hormone balance. Healthy weight loss happens after 50. It just won't happen without a change in the way you think about healthy weight loss. Do you need support? Consider Fit You. It's an online do-it-yourself program dedicated to fat loss for women over 50. And though it's do-it-yourself, you get with it a pre-programmed coaching session that comes right to your inbox right away so you can get your mind right in order to get your body weight. Weekly exercise videos sent to you telling you here's when to do and what to do for cardio, here's when and what to do for strength training that you can manipulate according to your schedule. And they're specifically designed for you if you've got 20 or more pounds to lose. You get live coaching with me. I jump in on Sundays in a private Facebook group where you can ask anything, learn from others, share what's happening with other women just like you. Anybody in the program is over 50. They are you. You get a coaching video every week for the mindset you need to keep replacing old thoughts. It's so important. And a fully fleshed out journal and resource guide to use during and long after the program. You get all of that. And right now, it's 50% off. I've given you everything I possibly can at a rate that is much lower than private coaching would be. And yet our group is small and intimate. There are alumni in the private Facebook group who will reach out and let you know this is what worked for me and these are the questions that I still have. And you're welcome to stay in that private Facebook group for as long as you want to. Right now, that program is 50% off and we're open for enrollment. It ends the first week of May when you can get started and make May and June your months to reset and have an amazing summer. Do you have a question? Leave it below the show link at flipping50.com. Healthy weight / healthy weight loss. And there's a dash between healthy weight loss. I love to hear from you. If this episode was helpful or stirred up questions or comments, I would also appreciate it if you leave a rating in iTunes. And then share this with a friend. Surround yourself with a supportive community of women on the same journey. To get the most from this week's episode, check out today's show notes at flipping50.com. And again, that's / healthy weight loss. Healthy weight loss. Where you'll find the juicy free downloads, the links to Fit You, and resources mentioned in the show, as well as other episodes you might like if this one got your attention. What are you waiting for? Let's start flipping 50 together.